Well, it looks like the government wants to take away your vehicle and they want to force you to purchase an electric car. I think we've heard this before, but this time Senator Chuck Schumer wants to put $462 billion to buy back your car and force you to buy an electric plug-in vehicle. Why does that not sound like a great idea? Welcome back to the show. I'm Lauren Fix, and this is 4 Minute Friday. And here's what's going on in your automotive world. This week's show is brought to you by Hertz.com. They're doing a Camaro sweepstakes. So we all know Hertz has had cool cars in the past, the 66 Shelby, and they've got other cool cars in their fleet. But they have partnered with Hendrick Motorsports of famed NASCAR to give away, yes, they're giving away a ZL1 Camaro. Wouldn't that be cool for free to have? Not too bad. You go to hertz.com/Camaro sweepstakes, and on November 15th, they are closing this sweepstakes. So I don't know how many times you can apply. If you're a Hertz member, then you get more opportunities. If you're not a member of Hertz Gold or their preferred program, then you will have to join, which isn't too bad because if you want a Camaro, it's not so bad. So if those of you who say, I missed the sweepstakes, I watched this after November 15th, you can still go to select Hertz locations around the country and rent a Camaro ZL1. That would be freaking cool. And it will be the one that's modified by Hendrick Motorsports. So I'm sure at some point they'll be selling them, and those could be future collectibles. Senator Chuck Schumer says that he would like to get rid of all of your combustion engine diesel vehicles and hybrid cars because he wants everyone to go electric. Does this sound like the Green New Deal that failed? That was an embarrassment because it's totally impossible? So let's take a deeper look on the automotive side, and we'll leave the rest of this stuff to other people. Here's what we're going to talk about. Chuck Schumer wants to take $462 billion, yes, billion dollars of your taxpayer dollars and force people to get rid of their electric cars by 2030. Well, how are they going to do that? Well, that's okay. He's got a plan. If I understand this legislation correctly, he wants to remove all gas-powered vehicles. I guess that means collector cars, so I'm in deep hot water because I got a lot of them, and I'm not getting rid of my cars. You'll have to pry the key out of my cold, dead hands, so I guess that's on his list too. You never know. And what he'd like to do is give you just a few $1,000s toward your old vehicle so that they can force you to buy a new electric vehicle. Because you know everybody's got 20 to 50 grand laying around with nothing to do, and maybe we'll just purchase an electric car. No. See, the problem is a lot of these legislators, they get driven around in vehicles. They don't own vehicles. They don't pay their car payments. They don't have to pay insurance. They don't have to pay for maintenance or filling up their pump at the pump or even plugging in, because you and I, as taxpayers, pay for their transportation, for their Social Security, for everything. They don't have to do anything. Basically, they just go there and make rules for you and I to live by. So let's get deeper into this wonderful, I guess you'd call it creative plan. It's more like a pipe dream. So let's get back into this Cash for Clunkers 2.0 program that Chuck Schumer is putting together. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. First, he wants $45 billion to be deployed for national public charging stations. I know companies like Electrified America are putting in stations as quickly as possible. And if you live in California, you've waited at charging stations. And I've tested vehicles out there where I've had to wait at charging stations. Sometimes I have to go to multiple charging stations and still can't find anything. But when you're living in the middle of the country, again, these flyover states that we are completely ignored, and I live in a flyover state, we don't use those charging stations. And if you go to many of them, they're completely empty. And you've sent me pictures and I appreciate them. And I just kind of chuckled to myself and posted them up on Instagram, which you can follow, by the way. And I have, by the way, discussed Cash for Clunkers on national TV, and I was right. And you can check out some of my commentary in the past. That's right up there. And also you can just go to my channel and you'll see there is tons of commentary on why this plan is not so smart. In addition, they want $17 billion to help fund retooling of U.S. plants. I find this hysterical. $17 billion to retool plants to make batteries and EVs and potentially hydrogen fuel cell technology. There's no infrastructure for hydrogen. I do like hydrogen, and they have worked on it back in the Bush administration, so it's been a while. I've driven actually pictures of the Equinox that I drove that was hydrogen fuel cell. And because the next administration, being the Obama administration, wanted to go electric, all that stuff got shelved. And now some manufacturers are starting to pull it out, and hydrogen may be an answer, but again, there's no infrastructure. It's this cart before the horse kind of thing. So we're talking about removing 63 million gasoline-powered vehicles by 2030. Wow, that's like mind-blowing in my head. And if I have this right, this would cost 5 times the entire US federal budget. That's like Cold War numbers. This is crazy, from 1960. Now, if I have this right, that price tag would be 5 times the current federal budget. More taxes. Well, they're going to tax us for all the other things that all of the candidates are talking about, how wonderful this would be. We only have so much money. And if you tax all of us 100%, then we're working for the government rather than for yourself. I'm not in for that. And we're not talking politics, I'm just talking cars. So my big question is, where the hell are we going to put 260 million vehicles that are on the road? That's all vehicles, that's everything that's registered right now. And collector cars, we're not even including that. We could put them on an island. We could call it combustion land. I know we could put it off the coast of California because that's where it's going to have to be, because we don't want that anywhere else, because they seem to hate combustion engine cars. Not the people that live there, the legislators. The people that live there love cars. It is the #1 selling state in the country for automobiles. That's why they have the power. We'll see about how long that lasts. And that all depends on the election coming up. If the current administration stays, California may lose its power. Cash for Clunkers was a program that was put out a while ago, for those of you that don't know. I'm sure many of you do, because it's not that long ago, but they would give people a few $1,000s for destroying their current car. And there was plenty of stuff on YouTube with people destroying their engines of really nice cars, BMWs and Corvettes and such, but some of those cars were really kind of crappy cars that had been in accidents, and people would trade those in. They were sitting in their yard, or they bought them for $100, and they'd take a few $1,000s and they'd go buy a new car. Many of my friends, who I'd say were in the middle of the financial world, they would go and buy new cars. They said, this is great. But that's not what the plan was about. It was about getting people who didn't have the finances to purchase a new car, to trade in their old clunker and get something new. If they could, they would. Many of the people that took advantage of this were people that could absolutely afford a new car. So that was a really failed plan. And many of those vehicles that we thought were getting destroyed, that we pretended were being destroyed, yeah, they were put on ships and sent to other countries. I know that because I have friends that made enough money that they could retire off of that little plan. So it didn't go the way they had planned. It was a failure from the beginning. So let's take another stab at it. Let's make the number higher. Senator Schumer wants to go between $2,500 and $4,500 to each citizen who trades in their vehicle. You can't buy a vehicle for $2,500 to $4,500. That's not going to reduce the price enough if that $7,500 tax credit is gone. That makes no sense to me. Now, I understand that their $7,500 tax credit is going away. It's actually going to be gone in the next few weeks for Tesla. And GM and Nissan are not far behind. And they are not selling at the numbers they thought they were. Now, Tesla's doing well because he's a Pied Piper. But for General Motors and Nissan, they're selling them, but they're not making a big profit on them, if any profit at all. But they're not making any profit on the Chevy Bolt EV or the Nissan Leaf. They're building these vehicles because the state of California says, if you don't build these vehicles, you aren't selling vehicles in our state. So they're building vehicles to meet one state's requirements, but they're not making money. Wow, that is like the stupidest business plan I've ever heard. So the fact that not everyone can afford a $20,000 vehicle makes no sense. This whole plan is mind-blowing to me. I'm not sure if you want to comment or you just want to criticize the plan. I'm sure you're going to have comments, and I'm really looking forward to them. And if you're thinking about melting down a dinosaur, check out the new review of the Corvette and the Shelby GT500. Both are amazing vehicles. And of course, love your comments down below, and follow us on social media because I am looking forward to hearing what you have to say. And by the way, it's cold outside. I hope your car's prepared because it's going to be a snowy winter. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.